Hi, this is Bill McKenna here on the UK Health Radio. We are so very happy to have one of the people that we really respect and admire on with us today, Coral Buchanan. Coral, I've known for several years now, and all I can say is it has just been absolutely heartwarming to witness a transformation, an unbelievable transformation that is very authentic. She's brought me to tears multiple times with just joy of watching how her life, her children, and the people around her were impacted. Eventually, I witnessed there's no other term you could use for it than the miraculous. I seen many different things that she has helped people with and transformed their lives now. She is out there. She's a force multiplier, and it's such a joy to have her with us today. Coral is a level 2 Cogno Movement practitioner and our mentor as well to other practitioners. So, Coral, welcome.
Thank you, Bill, so much. And really, everything you said, my heart is expanding because this work, literally every day I go, I am so grateful for Bill McKenna and Liz Larson and Leah because of this work, because I have transformed beyond imagination, but so ordinary at the same time. And so thank you, Bill. And just being alongside of you and Liz as mentors to me has been monumental in this growth of mine. So thank you. I'm glad to be here. So happy.
Both myself and Liz, we talk about it, on the long drives we have to do in between appointments or other, just how much we just appreciate you and not only what you've done for yourself but so many others. I can't wait to get into that. This is actually kind of a long story, and it doesn't start with our meeting. So what I'd like you to do is just to tell us, how'd you get here? What happened? What happened? What happened?
I don't know what happened, but here I am. Yes. Well, what happened? So life, through lots of twists and turns. I've been through, just a childhood that was now, and through Cogno eyes, I'm seeing all the wonderful parts of it, but a lot of chaos. And so when I came to meet you and Liz in the Cogno Movement, I came with a nervous system that was so fried, but also I was enjoying life. I thought it was okay. I thought everything was fine, but I had sciatica, I had low back pain, I had just couldn't sleep. My jaw was so locked. I remember the one, anyways, and just so much physically and anxiety out of the roof. And on the surface, I would smile and everything would be fine. And I was being a mom and being a wife and being all these things. But underneath, my life was chaos and it was miserable. I was truly miserable. And I've had a lot of beautiful things in my life. I worked for a fire department. I was paid call fire department when I was younger. I've been a librarian. I've been to New Zealand for 28 days just on a journey, and bungee jumped, and I've done lots of different things in my life. I'm very adventurous. I'm always up for like, hey, what's this? Let's explore this. And so I don't even know if that's the question you asked me, but that's kind of where I came from, which many people in this world come from, right? We come from chaos, and we're trying to make order of this chaos, and it might seem like the ordinary stuff, but when your body is out of alignment and your mind's out of alignment, it's hard to make sense of this place. And then when it comes back into alignment, it's the most amazing experience of that you can imagine.
So when you were going through all of these, you mentioned like physical pains. You know, you had a good life, but you had some physical pain. Did you have any kind of realization or thought that, for example, these pains in your body had anything to do with what had happened in your life, non-physically, your emotions?
Not at all. It's the whole I've been struck by. I'm struck by sciatica, you know, like it just appeared and my body was just that. I had no inkling and no way of relating how things create things in our bodies. I did no clue, not at all.
No clue.
Yeah, no. And through doing, so I didn't even start with the, like, oh, I got sciatica when I was starting with Cogno Movement. I would start with, I'm angry at this person, you know, or whatever. And then over time, because I didn't target those things, they just fell away. And it's like, oh. And then it is absolutely related to my roots of where I came from and how things evolved and how not anyone's fault, but how my nervous system perceived all of that. And it perceives it in a calm way now because I've done the work through using Cogno Movement. So, but it's hard to explain to people how physical symptoms really are based in an emotional or some sort of experience in life until you do it. And when you experience it, you can't deny that it's no longer a thing. It's now not a no thing. Coming back and not coming back. I'm 48. I always talk about my age, but I am more vital in this age of my time here than I have ever been in my life, ever. Like not even in my 20s. Not, you know, you think you have the energy, but the energy that I have now, because it's congruent, it's balanced, it's grounded, and I do the work still, but it gives me the freedom to dance and to do these things. So it's amazing. Yeah.
So what is that? You know, you use the word, and I think I said it too, but explain for all of our listeners, people are tuning in, you know, around the globe. What is Cogno Movement? What is that?
What is Cogno Movement? Cogno Movement, the system, it's a system that through simple exercises opens up the mind, opens up the learning centers, and opens up the energy centers all at one time, or, you know, during the set, to focus on a feeling or an emotion that is happening in the body. And because so much as the mind, body, and spirit is all in harmony, looking at this particular thing with these simple physiological exercises that we do, the body is able to relax, and the energy that is there is able to move and able to integrate and able to be accepted and able to leave. So whatever, you know, we don't even have to do it. It just naturally files in. Everything goes where it needs to go because you're relearning in this now moment that the nervous system is safe. And the wisdom that you have accrued from your whole life, the person that is you, the essence of you, gets to make that choice from that point on versus the program that was installed at whatever time the nervous system became discordant. I hope that answers your question.
That was a very good answer. You know, you said something, learning centers, and for everybody that doesn't know, you know, we learn in either by, you know, through our body, we learn through our hearing, we learn through seeing. So we have these different parts of our brain. They're called learning centers, you know, just basically different parts of the brain. And for many of us, we learn primarily in different ways. You know, a lot of times, like dancers, they learn through movement in their body. And other people, you know, in school, they can't really hear so good. Not even that they physically can't hear, but they can't take in the information in that way. But basically, Cogno Movement is a way that we can take these experiences and process them so that we're no longer in a reactive mode. For, I think, all of us, I feel how I feel. I'm angry, I'm jealous, I'm excited, I'm nervous, and it's just is what it is. You're not making choices. Choices are not available. No one ever really chose to be angry in your life. In your existence, did you ever choose to be angry?
No, I didn't wake up in the morning and go, you know what? Today I'm going to put a slice of anger in here and I'm just going to go at it. Like never.
Yeah.
That's not how we operate. No, you wake up in that and you're like, ah, look out. Here comes the wrath of coral, but
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So having command over that so that you literally don't feel it. You don't feel it. And I think an important part of that too, I think we can see this in others when they do get angry, that even though you're logical, you're reasonable with them, they can't hear you.
No.
Have you ever been on the other side of somebody who's really angry and you're saying the truth and they're still like, doesn't matter.
No, the energy that's imbued into that moment is so big. You can't, and the fight or flight, the body is so honed in on this is the one way and that is it. And so, yeah, they can't hear or see, or they're just, until it's the answer that emergency system is saying, then that anger continues. And then doing this work, because anger came in my background. I had a lot of anger in my background. And it's so beautiful because how you said, you don't feel it anymore. And it's like, you do have anger come, but when you process it with Cogno Movement, in the time that you work on it, whether it is, you literally don't feel it. And then the next time it comes, it's different. You're like, you recognize it. You're like, oh, hey, you. And you might still have a burst here and there, because it took me a while to actually get through all of the anger. I would have bursts. And then I'm not all of the anger, because I still can be, trust me, now that I'm saying this, the universe will be, oh yeah, Coral, you're all done. There you go. And that, however, you'd never experience it to the same degree as when you first start doing this work. It's amazing, the difference. And to not have that be the thread of your life, to be the thread, the main go-to, is a gift beyond. Like, that's a gift beyond. I'm done. The whole interview, I just, that's the whole, that gift alone of the anger disbursement. So much energy put into that, and so hard. It's so hard to be in that state all the time. It really is. It's suffering.
Yeah, it really is. I'm with you, Coral. I spent a large portion of my life like that too. So, I'm you. This is really interesting to find out about, your path and how you got here. How you got here. Because you came in and you were, obviously you already were married, you had kids, you're well into your adult life. It wasn't like you discovered it early.
Yes, I think my kids around 10 or so at that time. And I was a health coach at that, I'm still certified as that, but I happened to know Liz, and she told me about the ball, and I'm like, only said yes because she was I knew her, and I'm like, okay. And the first session I did was with my son. He had an irrational fear of spiders. Like, literally, if a spider was in the corner 17 feet away, he's out of the house. And we did the session because I'm like, well, this works for fear. Let's see. So I'm like, feel it. Oh, it's crawling on your arm, all this stuff. This is brand new. Like, I didn't know. Anyway, so he did it, and it was brand new to me. He did it, and he's like, I'm making the descriptions. He's like, yeah, I think I'm okay. He spent the night in a tent that night in the backyard, woke up in the morning, and there was a spider on his hand, and he opened the door and flicked it out. And he came in and told me. I'm like, there's something to this Cogno movement. There's something here.
So he would that have been, what would that have done before?
Oh, he would have a hole in the tent.
Oh my gosh,
the whole thing, the poles, I don't know.
Screaming. Okay, all right. Hey, right. we are up for our first break here. We're gonna give a chance for our sponsors here on UK Health Radio. And we're back with Coral. Coral's is done so many things in her life. So this is really an honor to get the time with her and explore kind of her journey through life. And what I'm really interested in this segment is I want to hear about the people that you've helped.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this now for 5 years, and so I've hundreds of people, but I'll do the ones that really stand out in my mind. You know, the recent ones are the ones that come because I just, you just do this. But I've worked with one person recently. They came in and they said, my ADHD brain causes chaos in my life. I can't focus, procrastination, all the things, right? And so in the one session, we were able to have acceptance of it. And the brain did calm. And so then when I checked in with them, they're like, well, I've been so worried about this job interview that I haven't really noticed if I've had any of the symptoms of ADHD, or my normal symptoms of ADHD that I carry. And so I'm all right. We did a session on the job thing, but it was, it's like, yeah, you don't notice it because it's not happening, but you can't, you have to flesh that out as you go. And it's an amazing thing because she's a mom. She's, like if you can't focus and you feel like you're always procrastinating because of your neurology, not even because it's who you are, and then to have that freedom, the ripple of that goes far beyond. It's really something.
So this is really an interesting point, and you brought up this particular diagnosis, and Cogno Movement doesn't treat any named disease, either physical or emotional, but what it does do is allow us to de-stress. And without the stress, you lose your focus. The other thing that it does is that it builds mental acuity. So neurologically, brain connections, getting the brain to fire, it's utilized by so many to create high performance. People that are very interested in, for example, athletic performance, like pro athletes or even regular athletes. And if you're an athlete of some kind, you want performance. But all of this is very, very natural and a byproduct of your brain. Imagine your brain firing and wiring and responding quicker. That's mental acuity, and this is scientifically proven that this is what it does. Cogno Movement will boost mental acuity and athletic performance, and also cause one to de-stress.
Also, another amazing story. I worked with a person, and it's been years I worked with this person. But they ended up, because of doing different sessions around different things, they were able to manifest over $400,000 to put towards something. Now, it was something official. However, it came because of the work that we did. And it wasn't a focus, meaning it just became a byproduct, but the person wouldn't have applied for that if we hadn't done all the work prior to it. So it can be used like you said, it's nothing diagnosed, none of that, but the stress around things, when we bring that down, the body knows how to heal. The body knows what to do. And it allows that open window to perhaps have the person take steps towards whatever it is that maybe they couldn't see or know about because it's available in their brain. And it allows perspective, meaning there's a bigger picture, there's more available. There's possibilities where before there wasn't. So there's so many, like you literally, this is the Windex of that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Anyways, it's the Windex of that. So just put some Windex on it. It's Cogno Movement. It really works for.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it.
Yeah.
I like the way that Liz Larson put it. And she talked about the electrical fence that we have around us. And, for all of us, I think, I certainly can relate. I don't know, Coral, if you can relate to this, but, we all have these electrical fences around us of what we will do and what we won't. Everybody, at one point was a teenager. And, you saw somebody that you were like, oh my God, I really like them. Whether it was a friend or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But you may have like, oh my God, they're so good looking. No way. I can't. And you literally won't approach them. You're like, no. Or, if you did, it would be very tentative. This is a real life experience. Or maybe the electrical fence was, I want to ask my boss for a raise. Sure could use some more of that money, but it's all things in life. We have parameters, an envelope that we will operate within. And if you notice, there's an emotion, there's a sensation or feeling in your body. And that is your limit, your limit of where I will go or not go. And it has to do with something like as simple as applying for something. Are you going to apply for it? Well, no, I'd never get that, or, that sort of thing. I had a very interesting experience where I literally witness people that were getting offers, like legitimate offer, and I would talk to them later on, and they're like, yeah, no, they don't want me, don't like me, I'm, it's, and I'm like, I was there. They literally, the offer is actually not heard. And it baffles the mind, but this is kind of what Liz was talking about, an electrical fence. You literally can't see it. Nope. You can't hear it. I tell you, there was this phenomenon is physical. You think that you're really, I know reality. It's, I was there, no, not. Your nervous system is actually like keeping you from it.
Yeah, it's like the eyewitness accounts, right? At an accident, you could have 4 people, and all 4 people have a different account of it because of their nervous systems, because of how they perceived it based on whatever came before that. And we're all in this push-pull, and it is in the body, and we absolutely can help, do something about that, because when the body can release it, then you have the bigger perspective. You can move forward.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that it happens so naturally. It's as natural as breathing. And it just seems like, oh, I didn't do anything. Once the nervous system is reprogrammed, the block is removed. The other thing is just witnessed, like, oh, wow, I can see the thing now. I had the most bizarre experience. I was getting on the freeway. I've told this story before, but I was getting on the freeway going around a corner, close to 30 years living in the same place. So the same entry to get onto the freeway, I've taken it, shall we say, more than once. You know?
Right.
And one time after doing the work, I looked over to the corner, and there was a 7-Eleven, and the 7-Eleven was older, and it had a gas station. And I was like, so my mind, I thought on that corner there was a mossy Nissan. And I would, if you gave me $1 million and I'm going to bet you what's on this corner, if you give me the right answer, you get $1 million. And I'm confident as I couldn't be more confident. And there it was, 7-Eleven. And I was like, my wife was with me, and I was like, how long has that 7-Eleven been there? All our lives? I was like, oh my God. Anyway, this is not only opportunity, but literally what you see and what you don't see.
Absolutely. Right. You couldn't see it because your perspective didn't go there. You looked at the freeway on-ramp and you never saw the bigger picture. You never saw the environment that you could go get a churro anytime you wanted before you got on the freeway. Nope.
I could have used their gas station. So many things. So many things. But it's an amazing thing that we're all kind of caught up in, and we don't even know it's there. You know, I think I forget who said it, but it's the prison that you don't know you're in is the most insidious of all. And to be able to find that out, did you find that you felt that you didn't know you were in a prison?
100%. Because when you're in that state of all the things I described at the beginning of the sciatic and all the things, you really don't know there's a way out. You really don't know. And you know what happens with that mindset, and that is more things compound and more things compound. So there's no way out. It is just who you are. So you are in a prison, and you don't look at it like that. You just look at it like, how am I going to deal with this step? How am I going to deal with this? I got to deal with this. And so, you definitely are in it. And, we can only see what we can see, and you don't know when you don't know. And that absolutely. And then in hindsight is the best, because when you're out, you're like, I can't even imagine being there. I couldn't even imagine that was me. Yeah. It's true, but it is true. But it's like, you're not. And the appreciation, the gratitude for this life and what you've come through, and the compassion you have for humanity and all the things, because you get it. You understand what it's like to be there. And you want to free everyone. You're like, come on, everybody, this is the way. But we know people are ready, they're ready. And they'll come, and so getting out the word and making seeds so people can understand that things are available that maybe they didn't understand were available before. And they could just be curious. And from one step of curiosity leads into so much more. It can be amazing. So.
Wonderful. We have to take another break here for UK Health Radio. Take it away. And we're back. Now, Laurel, you help people with divorce. That seems awful serious. Mm-hmm. Tell us, how did that happen? And tell us about the whole journey to it, and then what you do to help people that are going through one of the worst times of life. They say that this is one of the worst possible things in your life.
It absolutely. And so I'll start at the beginning. I am divorced myself, and I wasn't divorced years ago when I started this whole thing. And I was at an event, and it was Cogno Conscious. And at that event, we had gone through all the levels, and I experienced unconditional love. And to me, what that viscerally felt like was this just softness, this beauty in everybody. I was looking at pictures and I'm like, I just love you. I love you. And from that knowing viscerally in my body, the relationship I was in, I knew I have to, this is out of alignment. And so I kept working on the out of alignment in myself. And what it was really, it stems from how I came up into the world and how my patterns were. And as I did the work, some people, everything's repairable. Everything's repairable. But sometimes you know a chapter's time to close. And I knew from every part of my volition of my own being that a chapter of my marriage had to close for me to be able to be in my authentic self and be real. And at first, when it happened, I didn't have the view that I have now, which I was more of like, I'm out. This is no way. But because I kept doing the work and I knew that that unconditional love is for everyone. And if I'm not feeling it in myself, which I go through all gamuts of everything, I want to get back there. And so what unfolded is we had the most amicable divorce. We're friends. We have dinner together. I've met his new partner. My kids don't even, like, it was kind of seamless for everyone else. I had to do a lot of work. I did a lot of work and they, we all worked together as a family. Well, because of this, because I do know how impactful divorce can be and how it felt for me to be in a prison of thinking I couldn't get out and I had to do it. And something was wrong with me for the view I had and how I felt. I help people with custody cases. I help people with when they are already divorced and their kids don't want to go see the parent, but there's no like major abuse or anything, but the stress around it is so overwhelming in people's lives that when you can do this beautiful Cogno movement with them, they release whatever the body is holding on to, and then with grace and ease, they have a choice if they want to go see their parent or not. And some beautiful things have happened from that. And seeing my own children's dynamics and how it could be a no thing to be in the situation I'm in. I mean, there's nuances to everything, but it's really not a problem. It's not. And to be able to give that back into the world for people who have already experienced this or even contemplating it. And if both people are on board, you can repair the most beautiful way. You know what I mean? If people want to repair you, there's so much you can do. It's not about it, but it is about giving back the full choice, the knowing of what direction to go, instead of guessing and wondering if you're messing up and having guilt and shame and blame and anger and regret and all the things that go into it, because it is very serious. And so when you just work around the stress of what a person feels in their body around it, it opens up the doors to having connection, to having people not feel all of those things, whether they're doing the work or not. The person who does the work, it can be one-sided or it can be both people. It's more beautiful if both people do it because it's faster, because you're making headway. But when one person is brave enough, courageous enough to face the patterns in themselves around this topic, you can have your custody be smooth. You can have visitation be smooth. You can cohabitate and nesting. There's all kinds of different things in divorce of ways of living situations. You can really benefit your children if you have children. And they're the ones who inherit the things. So if it can be done in an amicable way, they don't have to inherit all that blame, guilt, because you're making a child choose. If you're saying you're blah, 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 this, they love that person. And if you make them have a choice, you're saying that their love is wrong. I don't know, I'm a little bold here, but that's how I see it and that's how I experience it. And when you can bring that person from having that viewpoint because they've faced the stress of it, the child doesn't have to choose. They can love both parents for who they are and how they are, and it doesn't make the child wrong. So for me, this is like foundational work. It works whether people are in a divorce or not a divorce. It is what I have done in my own self and with others, and to give it back is the biggest gift.
Wow. So you mentioned something, and the Cogno Conscious event, which is a 5-day event where you utilize these neurological tools to relieve oneself of a lifetime of shame, a lifetime of guilt, blame, grief, resentment, fear, all kinds of negative feelings that we're harboring all our lives, the lifetime experience of distrust, of resentment. And you go through and do basically allow yourself to feel, for example, the shame of your lifetime, and feel it. And doing these exercises, it literally goes away. So with that, with walking up that ladder for you, all the way to the point where you've removed the reactions that are covering up or inhibiting the love that you felt, and you got to experience that. Interesting, like so many, when you do this, a new reality emerges. You can imagine, for anybody is, listening is like, well, how would your life be if all that anger was just gone? Just literally gone. Well, that clearly is going to be a different life experience. So this event was really a catalyst for you so that you could actually move forward. And also having a highly unusual divorce. These things are cantankerous. I don't hear about situations like yours very often where, hey, we're just done. I people come to me and they ask me the question, should I get a divorce? And I always answer it the same way. And that is, tell me, are you leaving this relationship, with some real negative feelings? And you're leaving because you have a negative feeling about them and about what's happened, whatever that might be, about yourself, about them, you name it. Or is it really feel just complete? We are complete. I love the person and we're done. We're done. We are just gone down different paths, and I feel nothing about it other than joy for them, joy for me. Hey, yes. All good. And that is ultimately the completion of one's karma, is the way I look at it. But right. If there's something left there, that negative feeling, which from everything you tell me and what I witness in you, is that there's none of that anymore.
No.
Absolute zero, nothing.
It brings emotion. I am so grateful for the time we had together, because we were master teachers for each other. And there's nothing but gratitude, really, truly. Whew. Yeah. It's so beautiful, because, it took a lot of work. I'm not making it easy. And the beautiful thing, what you're saying about people asking that question, my eyes went like, what? It's because they know, but they know when they do the work, they'll know for real. Because asking somebody else, no one else has the answer for them. But your answer is so beautiful, because if it is something that it's just a nice closing of a book and it's right, and that was a good book, then maybe explore that, whatever the person, but in yourself, and things can change too. I've had people where they're just on the verge and they do some work and all of a sudden they're like back to go, because it's was just something they couldn't see. And so it's so universal, and it's amazing, because the ultimate goal is connection. The ultimate goal is connection to yourself. When we are connected in ourselves, we are connected to all. And we lose the judgment, and, there's steps to everything. But when we have that, then our knowing, we are not asking somebody else that question, because we already know. So this is like, you can't even describe how valuable this tool is in your own evolution of transformation. It is, there's many things that we use because nothing to me is one thing, right? So this is the primary thing, but then you go out and you take action in life, or you get into something else. But this leads you to being able to do that. And when you have all these things, your life becomes so rich and so full of depth that you want to be here. You want to be on earth. You're like, this is magic. It's magic here.
That is, what an incredible thing, Coral, for you to say. You want to be here on earth. This is incredible. How many people actually get to say that? I don't know, that many people outside of the arena that we service that can actually say that. And
a lot of people are waiting to go to some other place that's got lights and all that stuff. They're waiting.
Yeah. And they just want some relief through whatever means, distraction of some kind. Right. So I just feel better as I can get through this, which is quite a testimonial. We have coming up, interestingly enough, September 2024. This is ongoing. I'm sure people listen to this throughout the years, but we have it typically once a year, and it's in San Diego, California in September. The Cogno Conscious event that you can go to and spend 5 days and go through the hardest thing you've ever been through.
Yes.
The hardest thing you've ever done in your life, but it's also the most transformative. You'll come out of it a different human. And the best way I can describe that is just to ask yourself, if I was relieved of this lifetime of fill in the blank, the feeling about me, feeling about them, the feeling about whatever, how would my life be? What would it be like? And it is not for everybody. Not for everybody. You have to be basically ready and willing to, like, you know what? I'm ready to be done with it all.
And if you look at this event and you're called to it, you're called to it. It. And but it is very it is like a rite of passage almost. It's kind of like that. And you're in this beautiful group of people who are willing. It is the most courageous thing, in my view, to experience yourself, to experience all of the gamut of emotions, because we're taught that it's wimpy if you cry. That it's, well, if it's wimpy, then it's courageous. And these people, you just look at them, I get teary-eyed. I'm like, because I'm helping nowadays, and I just they're in it.
Yeah.
They're in it. And they keep going, and then they come out the other side, and it's like, whoa. And your life does change. It very much changes, and you can't even foresee how it changes, but it does. It is literally a level up, and it is a leveler, and so it is definitely not for everyone, but if you are called to it, come. It is. And my birthday's on the day 5.
Yeah. All right. That's great. I love that. Wow. Isn't that interesting?
Above and above.
So Coral, Coral, if you're in a relationship, by the way, I would say more often than not, things turn around. You don't think they will, but they do. Yeah. In relationship. Yes. The ones ending in termination are a fraction of the ones that turn around.
Yes.
But if you could, we just have a few seconds. Could you tell people, number one, the top things that you help people with, and number two, how they can connect with you to get a session and help them?
The number one thing I would say that across the board, what I help people with is to trust their decisions. And that is, trust is like somebody asking somebody else what to do. You don't know, but when you come into your wholeness, into your authenticity, you trust. So the top things that I help people with is that, and connection. Really, it is about connection and trust. And then from there, it's all the other stuff. But I work with weight, food, sex, money, you know, like all of this stuff, because it is a foundational work that leads to this life of loving being here. And you can get a hold of me. My website is coralbuchanan.com. And you can also find me on the Cogno Movement homepage, or the practitioner page. And I think Instagram.
Cognomovement.com.
Yeah, you can find me on there.
Practitioners.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Coral. And we will look forward to our next episode together. Coral, thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. This is really nice. I really appreciate it. Yeah.